ذا جود نيرس فيلم جديد على نتفليكس. بطل الفيلم هو أصغر ممثل حصل على جائزة الأوسكار من الأكاديمية. ومش بس كده، في الفيلم بيجسد شخصية أخطر قاتل جاء في تاريخ أمريكا. وإحنا عملنا معاه مقابلة حصرية هنا في البرنامج.
Hey.
What's going on?
Just, work's been pretty awful without you there. You and I were partners.
I don't want to talk about work.
Is it because what they're saying is true?
Well, congratulations. The film was great. I loved every minute. And just like you won before an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and a BAFTA for all the real people you played before, how hard was it to prepare for Charles Corey, which is the most prolific serial killer in the world?
It was intense, but it was also really fulfilling because there were so many different qualities to him. This man was, he was described by the real Amy Lochran as being two different human beings. On the one hand, he was kind and empathetic and a brilliant nurse and funny and saved her life. And then she met this other human being twice who was an empty vessel, had an extraordinary arrogance and was doing monstrous things. And so it was interesting because it was almost finding two different human beings and sort of working on that and then finding a connection somehow.
Do you remember working with someone named Charlie Cullen? Yeah. There was a rumor about him. They found insulin in a dead guy's saline bag.
Lately, you've been portraying real people in films, and you tell at it all the time. How do you do it?
Well, I never got into acting thinking that I'd play real people, but it's become a thing. I don't. What I love is when you're playing a real person, it's almost like you have the essay title. When you're at college or at school, you sort of, know what the aspiration is, and you also have in front of you a load of resource. So on this film, on The Good Nurse, there is a book called The Good Nurse, which our story is the last third of, but the other 2/3 are an intricate biography of this man with psychological reports, accounts by friends. So it's an amazing place to start. So what I've now learned, is that when I'm playing fictional characters, even then I have to go and try and find some kind of grounded truth in it, whether it's like when you're playing Newt Scamander, who's a major zoologist going and meeting zoologists, or, I have to find some way that I can account for a truth in it. So I think playing real people has shifted my process somehow.
We understand that you work with a Charlie Cullen. Could he be involved in this?
Charles Cullen, it's such a difficult, a man to see his emotion. Throughout the film, there was no emotion, projected whatsoever. Till specific scene which I found spectacular. This scene where the I can't scene where you delivered the same word over and over and again in different range to the extent that you almost lost your voice. Was that a director's note, or that's you from preparing the character bring it to life?
Well, firstly, that scene we had the visual recording of, so there was a lot in that scene that was taken from real life. But also there was this moment after our film, so when he was in court on trial, when some of the victims' families were in court, and the judge was handing out his predicament, and Charles Cullen stood up and started shouting at the judge about the judge's ineptitude, just repeating this mantra, shouting it and shouting it and shouting it quite violently. And he ended up being bound and gagged in court. And so it was about seeing this other side of him, that scene. It was about seeing the other human being, this petulant, very damaged child almost.
Hey there, lovebirds. I cannot get over how cute your Vanessa is.
Who's Vanessa?
Oh my God.
the production of Netflix, they prepared you guys by providing a nursing school.
Yeah.
What was that like, and what was like working with Jessica Chastain?
I adore Jessica Chastain. I think she's one of the great living actors. And it was a treat every day to get to spar, to dance, to play opposite her. We both did go to nursing school. Nursing schools for 2 weeks, and we started with the history of nursing and then into the intricacies of CPR and the major takeaway is that I'm a really bad nurse. Like during the first take of this movie, I managed to inject my thumb. I've managed to put a pin in my thumb, and it didn't get much better. So never turn to me in a crisis is the overwhelming takeaway from this movie.
Well, I'm glad you're not a good nurse.
Yeah.
He's walking in right now. Hey.